So law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, and energy can be transferred from one form to another. In other words, the law of conservation of energy states that amount of existing energy before the event is equivalent to the amount of energy after the event. Now let's understand this. So here you can see a curve path. Now initially I've kept this curve path as a frictionless one. This is our skater. I'll put him here and then release it. So you can see that he is moving from one end of this curve path to the other end, and say let's keep it in normal speed. So it's moving from one higher end to the other higher end up to the same height, and since there is no friction, then there won't be any stopping to this skater. Now let's introduce friction to this, and again release the skater from the same height. Now as you can see, by every oscillating motion of the skater, he is slowing down and ultimately he would come to the halt. Now why is that happening? Okay, so to understand this, let's introduce graphs of energy for this motion. Now here in this graph you can see the total energy graph is constant, it's not moving, it's still, but kinetic and potential energy curves are changing by every moment of the skater. So if you observe carefully, at every point the sum of kinetic and potential is always equivalent to the total one. Now since there is no friction, therefore thermal energy graph is not there. Whereas in case of frictional motion of the skater, if you introduce a bar graph, then you can see the thermal energy curve increasing by every oscillating motion of this skater. So that indicates that whatever energy this skater is losing is going into thermal energy, and it would come to an halt when the thermal energy is completely equal to the total energy, and kinetic and potential energy would become zero. Thus, the kinetic and potential energy of the skater went into thermal energy. Hence, skater's potential energy was converted to kinetic and potential ultimately when there was no friction, and when there was friction, then his potential energy got converted to kinetic and in turns to thermal, and ultimately when there was complete thermal energy as its total energy, it came to an halt. Thus, the law of conservation of energy is verified.